I can tell you there was no fire, but what actually happened here at Kmart Racing, unfortunately, I don't know whether there's a miscommunication or something, but Murph's car came down off the jacks, but the fuel was still connected, the fuel filler was still connected to the tank, and he took off and it ripped part of the fuel filler off, and fuel has spilled everywhere down here. The officials are very quickly onto it. They have doused it with all sorts of foam to prevent a fire. We've got one of the Kmart crew hit the deck. He's okay, he's up and about now. But boy, oh boy, that could have been a major moment then.
Gee, what a mess. So you're saying, Rusty, that the hoses were still connected when the car took off?
That is correct, Matty. The actual hose or the filler connection that flows down from the actual tank was still connected to the car.
You'll see it there on the left-hand side. Look at that. Oh, man, what an ugly mess. And really dangerous.
Well, how lucky we didn't get a big explosion there. There is an enormous amount of fuel there, highly combustible material. They were onto it quickly with the foam, but how easily could that have erupted into an inferno? Look at the fuel.
Great work by the marshals there. Great work.
We're thinking the same there, Woodsy, weren't we? Because they were spot on. I mean, another second or so there, and that could have been absolutely disaster. These guys are professional crew members. You can see that they're all wearing helmets these days. One of the changes in regulations that you've got down in pit lane. It's a dangerous world down there, no question about it.
Jim Richards.
When mistakes happen, it can get really ugly. Okay.
Well, this is going to be a shattering moment for car 51, Greg Murphy, and Todd Kelly. It's just been announced he'll get a drive-through penalty plus a 5-minute addition for that muck-up with the fuel ring. 5-minute penalty. So that goes to show how tough they come down on dangerous situations like that.
Well, we talk about it being a team effort up here. Everyone stresses, both former and current champions, that it is all a team effort, and at times there is...
Oh dear, let's listen.
At times...
Sorry, Woodsy.
Yes. I can't hear you.
Listen to this.
This is it.
You've got to stop in the pit bay for 5 minutes. Repeat, 5 minutes.
Well, I can imagine Greg Murphy's reaction. He's side by side with the Castrol Commodore at the moment. Stephen Richards on the inside. Murphy on the outside is continuing to attack, but he will be shocked by what he just heard on the radio.
Guys, I can tell you this has been brewing for a good couple of laps now. I've been talking to the officials, and they have decided to apply this penalty, but it's not going to be added to their race time. As you heard on the radio just then, they're going to force Murphy to come in to pit and to serve this penalty for 5 minutes. He can't believe it. He's on the radio talking to the team. He cannot believe that this is going to happen, so he's coming in for 5 minutes. He will stop at the Kmart pit bay for what will seem like an eternity for a pit lane infringement.
Look at this battle for second position. Mark Scaife ranging up on the outside of the Castrol Commodore. And Greg Murphy just being in disbelief. 5-minute penalty, and there's no point in trying to add it to his race time. That would cause far too much confusion. They want him to serve it out now, sitting in pit lane for more than 2 laps worth of race time.
Fuel problems cost them the Queensland 500 when they basically ran out of fuel, if you like. Todd Kelly and Greg Murphy, while they had it in the bag, and we're on board now in the Kmart Commodore, the face of a very disappointed Kiwi. And now a mix-up with the fuel pump is going to cost them 5 minutes of race time. Smack bang in the middle of this race while they're in second position. Can you believe it?
It's going to drop them down at least 2 laps. So shattering news for Greg Murphy. But the officials, Paul Radisich, they do come down tough on safety issues. We saw some dramas early on when they encouraged the team to get helmets and things when the pit stops were first starting, but now that fuel going everywhere, that's unprecedented.
Yeah, it is, but gee, 5 minutes, stop and go, fair enough, but 5 minutes, first time I've ever heard of that, but you know, that's what they've decided, and that's what he's going to have to serve, and poor old Murphy's going to be gutted because 5 minutes is just unbelievable.
It's going to be the longest 5 minutes sitting still inside a race car.
It's going to be 5.5 by the time he comes through and basically completes the drive-through penalty, because he has to knock it back to 40 Ks there. So all this time is added. Remember, he's got to sit, from what I understand, in the pit bay for 5 minutes. Time starts now.
Boy, oh boy.
Might as well get out and have some lunch, because
what a great roast.
Yeah, he is. I mean,
Well, Murphy's out of the car, guys. He is fuming. He came down pit lane and he said, look, this is crazy business. Might as well put the car out the back. They're telling Todd to get in the car. No, he's going... I think he's going to take use of the facilities here. But he is fired up.
That's too tough. That's, to my mind, is ridiculous. You know, I know safety is one thing, but I can't comment if anybody got injured or not, but it seemed like they cleared it up, and, you know, to serve that type of thing, I mean, is just too tough.
It's an awfully long penalty. That effectively puts them right out of the running, not just back, but 2 laps behind.
We're half race distance now, and yet another major contender has been KO'd here at Mount Panorama. It's looking good for Castrol Perkins, and sandwiched in between them at the moment on the track, of course, Mark Scaife.
This crew, Woodsy, has been flawless throughout the first 8 rounds of the championship. The first 9 rounds, in fact, their pit stops have been slick, and look at Murph. He's fuming, absolutely furious. He knows that his shot at this title has gone. 5 minutes is an eternity to be sitting there with nothing happening. And of all places, Mount Panorama. That's the story of Greg Murphy. He's just sitting there, biding his time, doing his time, serving the penalty. There's nothing he can do when the stewards say it. And he's going off the Richter scale. So Greg Murphy and car number 51 out of contention. Car number 15, Ivan Muller and Andy Prix. 5 minutes pretty much bang on the minute right now. 5 seconds just to go now, Matthew, and Greg Murphy has been absolutely fuming the entire 5 minutes. I couldn't actually talk to him, just to clear something up for you. No one is actually allowed to touch the car during that period of time. Not even the team could work on it. I know Murph got out of the car, but we're not even allowed to talk to him. That's the rules from the officials. Wow. Well, we really didn't need to hear what he had to say. The body language told us everything.
That time around, Scaife took away 9/10. 2:11 down, and look at this, a barbecue for car 6. Mark Winterbottom has a fire at the rear.
The car is on fire.
Oh, this is an unbelievable situation for Ford Performance Racing and Mark Winterbottom. Car 6 on fire. The rear of that car has been barbecued.
And remember, they were having some electrical issues from early in the race. He didn't even actually get to his pit. He's been rescued there by 2 or 3 crews from other pit garages, and that car really erupted. So that was genuine fuel fire then.
That is good thinking from the other crews, because Frosty was never going to make it up to the end of pit lane without the situation getting even more out of hand. So,
well, if he hadn't have been able to get that addressed quickly, then by the time he got to the end of the lane, you'd threaten a $500,000 car.
Frosty, a scary moment there. What happened inside the cabin?
I'm not sure, just saw the smoke and then had to pit, so yeah, not sure.
Some help from some crews around?
Yeah, it's great, you know, the guys got me out. It's good that they come and do that, so yeah, disappointing.
Thanks, Frosty.
unbelievably disappointing. They had done such a good job. Watch this. This thing is an inferno as it comes into pit lane. And by now, he's thinking, I've got to get out of here.
Well, FPR boss Tim Edwards is just watching this back now. Tim, any feel for what might have caused that?
No, none whatsoever. He just said he was coming in the pit lane. We assumed it was a tyre-related issue, but no idea.
All right, mate, thanks.
Yeah, well, the disappointment is palpable in Ford Performance Racing. He's turned it into licorice, the back of that car.
So Red Bull are ready. Ford Performance Racing are ready. Here is the race leader, Shane van Gisbergen. He's got a margin of 12 seconds. They're going to squeak him in here. Let's watch and listen. He's going to drive the wheels off this thing to get it in here. They just need a squirt of fuel. He wants to hold position. It's track position he's chasing with fuel.
Will he do tyres? Will he do tyres?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Let's just check. Here, look at that. That's out of control. Lowndes and Mostert.
Lowndes was off the road.
He was 23 seconds in the lead to Winterbottom. 23 seconds, Van Gisbergen to Winterbottom. Let's check this.
Now, what's going to happen here is these guys will be racy. They'll be racy, but Winterbottom then is the one that's got to conserve. Stalled it. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. This is murdering Shane Van Gisbergen. You're kidding me.
Clutch in.
He's not a factor now. He's not a factor.
He's gone.
That is working all day long. After 7 hours and 30 minutes, the race leader can't get car number 97 working. He cannot start it. And Craig Lowndes has got the squirt of fuel.
Won't go. The car, stands under the car.
So what happened was he popped the clutch, it stalled, and they can't start this car. Winterbottom is the leader. And he's fuel compromised.
Yeah, so they can't get Shane's car started. They're asking for the stands under the car to put it back into the garage, but they are still working on it at the moment in the lane, as you can see. This is a disaster for Techno Autosports after such a long day.
Unbelievable. So Whincup and Winterbottom are fuel compromised. They lead the race. A bobbled departure for Van Gisbergen. Meantime, medical intervention up there for Tim Blanchard just to make sure he's okay. They're going to get that car number 23 away. Here is Van Gisbergen.
They're hitting it with a hammer under there because they can't get the bendix. So when you go to start it, check this, Whincup. Whincup off the road. That's what's let Winterbottom by. He's made a massive mistake. He's made a massive mistake. We're on board.
Gee, he's been surfing the edge today, hasn't he? Jamie Whincup, unbelievable. And there goes his key rival. They've had incredible battles together over the years. And if you're a risk assessor and you're risk assessing Jamie Whincup today, man, he just lost his no-claim bonus because he is starting to be a spooky prospect at the moment. He's been driving so hard to try and make lap speed. We've seen errors that we've never seen before from him here.
And he had 10 seconds over Winterbottom before that. So that, in that phase of the race, he backed off more. He then made that mistake. Winterbottom is by. He's still in some fuel drama in terms of whether the consumption will get him home. Will his economy be good enough to get him home? But check this out. This is just tragic. He made the most simple mistake. He just stalled the car, leaving the pit bay. He then could not restart the car because the starter motor won't engage. And he's out of the car after one of the great drives. A superb pole position yesterday. His first pole position ever. You've got to put your hands together for this young Kiwi. He's an extraordinary talent, Rihanna.
Shane. Clearly Shane's heartbroken at the moment, and Jonathan Webb has also left the garage. Such a disappointing way to end such a big race.
Incredible. That's his dad, Robert.
And this is probably we said yesterday was the biggest showing.
7.5 hours of hard work. Yeah. And no result. But if there's an upside, he has shown today what unbelievable speed and competitiveness he and that team have got.
You know what that looks like? It looks like Glenn Seaton in 1995 with his dad, Barry.
Yeah.
They were so close to winning the race, and that is just so cruel. It is an extraordinary sport sometimes to have applied that effort, to have gone as fast, to have driven so well, and to make the simplest mistake. It's extraordinary.
The other thing about the Whincup off at turn 1, that had to be under yellow because they were probably trying to get back on the train. So that even amplifies that, as it just goes to show how hard they're all having to push at the moment. So there it is, the Techno Autosports Holden Commodore back in the garage. There's Steve Hallam, who was in tears when he saw his man grab a pole position here. And they're peeling car number 8 off the racetrack as well. Remember, they had a tough day and lost laps. They're 3 down on the lead. Jason Bright's 15th at the moment. We'll get points for that. Now, here's the The car was running, and that's really weird. So he actually was running, he launched, and then it stalled, and then something's gone awry with the starter motor at that point, and Jonathan Webb distraught, co-driver. Cannot believe it. The time, the money, the investment, the hard work.
And it all looked very orderly as they came in to change tyres, put more fuel in the car. But watch this. There was all sorts of drama. Jason Bright trying to get out of the pits. They almost ran into another car. And there were air hoses stuck into the car. And look at that. It pulled the whole fuel rig and gantry with it. The team working frantically to try and get Jason Bright clear. But that is a very, very dramatic moment in the pit lane.
That is a scary moment. That could have collected any of the crew members or anything. It almost collected our own Greg Russ. Greg, how was it down there?
Oh, boy, what a nervous moment that was. There was pretty heavy gas bottles flying around the place, and that gantry, as you mentioned, came clean down. Now, I think this really gets back to exactly what we were talking about this morning. It is just so tight here in pit lane at the moment that if somebody came in during the course of the pit stop, if there were 3 cars side by side as they were, they literally run out of room. That's what happened. Murph came in, Jason Bright came in, and of course Mark Larkham came in. As Brighty was trying to get out, he had to try and manoeuvre the car around. Part of the overhead air hoses got caught on the rear wing and underneath the car. It pulled the gantry completely down and the gas bottles with it. Poor old Larko's fuel stop was delayed as a result. And to make matters worse, if that wasn't enough, as Murphy was trying to leave, there was almost a collision with Ashby and Reid here in pit lane. It was all happening.
Yeah.
I think what we must not generalise there, what we must take away from that is it was a very, very lucky situation for a lot of people.
Yeah, dragging those air hoses along the ground. Anything could go wrong. Let's have a look at that again. You can see the Wins Commodore coming out there getting squeezed. The Optus machine backs off to give them some room. But look at that, the whole gantry with it. And any one of those guys in the crew could have been injured there as that big aluminium post was dragged along the ground. They managed to clear it. They're very lucky that all those hoses didn't get wrapped around a rear tyre or around the rear axle. But just goes to show how tight things are in pit lane. Under the pressure of a pit stop, anything can go wrong.
Now, this is significant because Tander, who dodged the kangaroo...
The door fell off.
You're kidding me.
It just fell off. Can you believe that?
That is ridiculous, isn't it? Now, that's a tweak that I've not seen before. They'll probably resolve that fairly readily, but they needed to change the roll centre. They needed to change the incoming tyre pressures. Now they've got to get a door back on the hinges.
Stay off the brake.
I have open-ended pins on this thing so that you can just pluck it on and off, but somehow it's ended up with an upward pressure on it, so it's plucked it out of its mount.
Pedal, pump the brake pedal. Come around here, fix the door. Help fix the door.
Well, this is proving to be quite an issue. Obviously, that's exactly what happened. It was an upward pressure that just knocked it off the hinge, Neil. But I actually came around this side of the car to have a look because there was a report from the HRT spotters at the top of the hill that he actually did hit the kangaroo. Now, they've got strategic spotters up the top for all this intermittent rain conditions, which is a smart move. So the moment they know it's raining at the top, they can pass that information on to their driver. You don't want a driver blazing over the top thinking it's all dry, then coming across a greasy patch. It's a fast way to lose a race.
All right, so they're back out now. Cam McConville had to sit there for a while. Watch this, front door off.
Yeah, it's when Garth's given it a kick, and as he's leant on it, he's just pushed it up off the hinges, but Skip was on the other side, so he didn't contribute to the door problem on. So pad change now for 33, David Bernard, Lee Holdsworth entry. He's having a bit of trouble getting the piston squeezed back in the caliper.
Where the bias is, what's that now?
And that's David Bernard just asking about where to put the brake bias there with the new fuel load.
And here is the stop that I spoke about. So now in for car 14, we were expecting that. They're on the alternate strategy. They've done brakes. They're having problems just getting the right front brake. So they've got an oil fire down there. Right front brakes were giving them drama. This was second position, this car. And they've got a significant oil fire going. It's brake fluid that's erupted down there. They must have popped. They pop a piston.
It must have. The only thing that would have lighted up that stage. This is a catastrophe.
No, they can't put a wheel on it. It's got
the pads are hanging out.
There was a pad jammed, I thought, that I could see.
You could see the brake pad hanging out the back of it, guys. So I'm wondering if you're right about the piston. Let me confirm.
Has he got pedal pressure?
Turn off, turn off, turn off.
This is a real disaster.
Oh my God, it was such a great stint. Young Ash Walsh did a remarkable job. He drove really well.
I wonder whether the pedal got bumped. They're going to have to get everybody on deck to resolve this. Rusty's down there keeping an eye on it, so we'll have a look. So right front, oil fire for that car, but it's brake fluid. The question is why. We suspect that may have popped a brake piston caliper. Is it caliper piston? I'll get it the right way round. Meantime, 25-second lead for Paul Dumbrell over Steve Owen.
He may have bumped, when he did the driver change, he may have bumped it with his pedal, with his foot.
That's what I kind of suspect. As you can see the angle of the pad, and in fact, I reckon you can see the piston's out. There it is, up the top. So the top piston's come out. Yep. It's hydraulically activated by oil pressure in behind it, and so I could hear Kim Jones in the background just telling everybody to settle down. So they're squeezing the piston back in. They're a 6-piston caliper. There are 3 of them down both sides, and that's been activated somehow during the stop, and it's pushed it out, and the fluid's wept out. It's 800 odd degrees in there, and it's erupted. Rusty?
And it was hard up against the disc crompo. Sorry, Kim's just trying to say something to me.
One of the pads fell out in the change, so when they went in to pump it, it pumped the piston out, so they had to push the piston back.
There you go, boys.
Yeah, so that's a real drama for them. So now they've got to bleed the system, get the air out of it. That's going to take forever and a day to bleed the brakes. They'll drop a lap or 2 in this process, and that's going to be all over for car 14. They were second at the time and matching punch for punch with the race leader.
They were a genuine contender now. Genuine contender. Slade's pace was great. Young Ash Walsh just did a fantastic stint. That is just a disaster. It's such a cruel game sometimes. The smallest little issue with a pad stop. Pad comes out. They applied pedal pressure to pump them out, to push the piston out. Caught on fire, and now it will take ages to rectify that. And as I said, they were a genuine contender. In the last stint, the only guy on the track that was as fast as Paul Dumbrell was Ash Walsh.
Wow, that's a big lose at a fast section of this circuit. And Dumbrell is released just as the caution flies.
Oh, my goodness. That's not a good vibe when you almost crunch the safety car. That was a bit bizarre.
And now they wave him by.
Had contact with the safety car. I've hit the safety car. He pulled out into the side of me.
I would have thought the safety car driver needed to be a little cautious there.
Oh my goodness. And Paul was saying
he clipped it, he said. And he said, as you can see, it pulled out in front of me. That's a rare incident, that one.
Scaife will hand over to Kelly. He was standing by. We saw him ages ago, in fact. Standing by as they always do. And watch the HRT boys go to work.
What was that?
Confusion. He almost pulled up at the BOC pit.
He did. Wrong mod. And not only that, the VOC guys actually looked like they were about to start doing work on it.
Boys, that's exactly what I think's happened. I think the red uniforms that Team VOC guys wear have just for a moment thrown Mark Scaife. That's such a shame. In the meantime, they're doing pads here. Todd Kelly is already in fuel as well. Tyres good, slick stop in terms of those brake pads, so that's a good recovery considering the entry.
Stalled it. And they've got a scuff mark on the right rear bumper there as well. That was a little bit messy. They lost time when Mark slowed down through Team VOC. They lost more time when Todd stalled it. That erodes some of that lead. And the SBR #1 car has gone on to reserve, and he'll be in as well.
This will be a deciding moment for Jamie Whincup. In he comes.
Oh, he's had a moment. He's in the gravel. No! A massive moment there. A race-changing moment for Jamie Whincup.
Somehow he managed to pull it back.
Jamie, I've got you. Watch your pit speed, 10% throttle. Disconnect your drink hose and your helmet hose.
Release your belts. Radio out.
He was flawless until the entry into the pits. Now he comes in. Craig Lowndes is waiting.
Let's see the screen. Hold for fuel. Hold. 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 Everyone clear the car, please.
The difference was 0.2 of a second.
Hold.
Mark Winterbottom's now coming along the main straight. He's represented by the blue dot.
Restart, watch your speed, watch your speed.
Whincup will come out behind him. There goes Winterbottom in car 6.
We have cold tyres. Your bias and bars have not been changed, so you need to set them, please.
A big net gain for the Ford Performance Racing crew. And a simple error from Jamie Whincup now puts Craig Lowndes in the position to have to fight like never before. 28 laps to go. An unbelievable moment.
Jamie Whincup, that is incredible. What happened?
It was a race in the pits, really. We had to have a quick inlap and get in the pits quick and change over for us to take the lead, and just push the limit a little bit too far, run off the track. Looks like we're still second, of course, so not good, but relatively happy with my stint apart from that.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Well, it was a slow pit stop for Mark Scaife and the Holden Racing team, you might have noticed there. Scaife brushed the wall up around the top of the mountain, and the team just wanted to take the time to make sure that everything was okay for the next 30 or so laps.
How on earth did Jamie Whincup salvage this situation? Because it goes bad here, it gets awful about here. Almost now he's back on the track, and he manages to pull it together with the aid of a bit of grass, flicks it right, and gets back in under control.
The amount of speed the veteran was showing. Now, apparently, Larry had a bit of a crash coming into the pit lane entry, and look at the damage on the front of the car. So hopefully they can get the guard away from the tyre and get him back into the race.
Yes, guys, the front of the car is an absolute mess. Would you believe it? He inherited the lead, come into pit lane and had an accident. Now, the front of the car is quite dashed. They're trying to push the guard off the front wheel. Now they'll go out. The crew reacted very well. Now, this is the time when things must go right for Larry Perkins if he's going to win this race.
Well, Larry's dug deep. Let's have a look at the replay of what happened. Well, the road was slippery and voila. Woof. Look at all these cars coming in now.
Cito's car in there now.
Yep. So Stephen Richards will come in and hand over to Glenn Seaton, will he? Not sure whether he'll exceed his maximum time behind the wheel if he doesn't.
Murph, this is Bill, Matt and Mark up in the commentary box. Can you hear us, mate?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Murph, what happened there with the fuel rig?
The car got dropped when it shouldn't have. Basically, the car stays on, obviously stays on the jacks until we're ready to go. And that means it stays on the jacks until the fuel's full. And for some reason, the car got dropped, and my signal man wasn't standing in front of the car because he was obviously watching the fuel. And as soon as it dropped, that's usually the signal to go. So I went, and unfortunately, the fuel was still connected.
It's not often that you guys make mistakes down in that pit crew, Murph. I know that you'd back them 1000% because they've been right on the hammer, but it could have been really ugly, couldn't it?
Well, I think it was ugly enough, actually, mate. We don't like to have accidents at all in the pit, and that was a mistake, and certainly the guys aren't very happy about that. But we'll get on with the job. Sounds like lucky enough we got enough fuel in the car to go. It'll tighten our window a little bit, but these safety cars are certainly going to help.
Well, that's what we were wondering about your fuel window, Murph, because we weren't sure how much fuel you got into the car, but I take it was only a couple of seconds before you were due to go out anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't too many, but obviously it's not a full tank. But from the calculations, it's going to be okay because we've got some pretty good mileage, and also the first two stops we went to. Geez, is that a tent?
Yep. Yeah, a whole corporate box going through the air, mate.
Is everyone all right?
Well, no survivors have wandered out of it yet. But...
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so we got a fair bit in, and with the running, Todd went to empty on that last stint, so that's good because we haven't had to stop too early. My first stint was 31 laps, so that was pretty good too.
All right, Murph, we'll let you get back to it. Thanks for that.
Everything's crossed.
Yeah, everything's crossed.
Good luck, mate.